Well, after sitting through Willow, I took a gander at the cast and looked them up to see what else they'd done. And just kind of sit back and think, well, you just ended your careers. Well, probably not, but you know. But one of the cast members that caught my interest because I thought this was a guy who was wasted on this show, which they all were, really. But that was the Arab Mad Mardigan, I called him. He was called Borman in the series. And because I thought, it's too bad he's stuck in this thing because, I think he had what it takes to be a leading character for a film or series. So as I was looking him up, I looked him up to see what else he had done. And turns out he had recently done a film called Dash Cam, which is a found footage film. And of course, as I've stated before, I'm always a sucker for found footage. Most of them are terrible. Every now and then, though, some of them are pretty good. This one, somewhere in the middle. So it was on Hulu. I checked it out and watched it. So the premise of it is this vile bitch who is a MAGA girl. She has the MAGA hat and everything. That's not why she's a bitch. She's just a foul-mouthed bitch who has no consideration for anyone else. But it takes place during the lockdowns, and she's fed up with all of that, rebelling against it and whatnot. But her main thing is that she does this dash cam show, hence the title, a live stream show that she does from her car. She drives around and makes up rap lyrics based on terms that her audience puts in the chat. So she does that, and the songs are all about sex and bodily fluids and disgusting things. But anyway, she decides to she's in Los Angeles. She decides to take a flight to London to meet with an old buddy who was in her band with her. And he's there with his girlfriend, who is diametrically opposed politically to Annie. And so it doesn't go well. She damn near ruins that for him. Damn near ruins his job as sort of like a DoorDash type delivery service. Steals his car at one point to continue doing her dumb dash cam show. Ends up stumbling into getting paid to transport this mysterious old woman. And then that's when all hell breaks loose. The mysterious old woman is not at all what she seems. There are scenes where she appears to have superpowers. Another woman shows up trying to get this other woman, attacks Annie, nearly kills her several times. Stretch is Borman's name. That's the character he plays, who is the band member. He's the supporting character. Shows up trying to get his car back and ends up involved in all of this. And it kind of hands off between them, which I don't know that he would have kept the camera going. That's one of the faults here, because one of the things about found footage is you've got to have a credible scenario as to why the camera keeps rolling, because the people in this position, you're filming something okay at the outset, but when the monster starts chasing you, you're not going to be worrying about your camera anymore. So you got to figure out a scenario as to why that would keep going. As far as it being in the car and everything, fine. And for Annie herself, because that's her whole world and all she cares about. Yeah, but for Borman to keep doing it, the only explanation is that it was his source of light. So, okay, I'll give him a pass on that. But that's the deal, and the mystery is why, does this old lady have these powers and stuff. And right off the bat, there's a clue that she's not as old as she looks. Early on, Annie's trying to take her to this destination she was told to take her to, and the woman craps on herself. And as Annie's trying to clean the woman, she discovers she has a Ariana Grande tattoo on her pelvic region and a ring in her navel. And so that's a little odd for an old lady to be doing that. And so there's your clue. She's not as old as she appears. And later, sure enough, she's actually only 16 years old, but she looks like she could be as old as 70. So something's happened to her. The woman chasing them, who ends up chasing them with a shotgun, shoots at them several times, but they get the drop on her and break her arm. She says that the woman's her daughter. and that's about all you get out of it. But that's, and before then, the woman, the old lady, whose name is Angela, sorry, I forgot about that part, shows up and then starts attacking them, starts trying to eat them like a zombie, and kills her mother, rips her head clean off. And then all hell breaks loose. They're chased by this woman all over the place, all kinds of things. Some of it is just a bit much. You, of course, with found footage, there's going to be some amount of shaky cam, but when it's too much, it's too much, and it puts you out of it. Even though it makes sense, they're running and everything, but it's like, oh, jeez. I don't, works better when there's other avenues of it, like Paranormal Activity had the security cam footage. So, that works a lot better, so you can get other vantage points and stuff. Here, I don't know how else you would. It's only when it's stable, when it's from the car, But every now and then there's the good shots of they're busy trying to do something. They're not really paying attention to what's going on, and if you look, you'll see something moving in the background, and suddenly there's some good shots and scenes of them being, the crazy lady actually chases her while she's in the car driving away. See her in the red light coming. It's pretty good. But anyways, a big chase all over the place. They end up in a fairground at some point. Stretch, sadly, gets killed. Sorry about that. So what is it? What's the deal with the woman? Well, she ends up, suddenly finds herself at this place. She gets in, she needs to clean up and stuff after being chased by the monster. and having quite a few car wrecks, went into a river and all this stuff. And she looks around and then sees the address and goes, oh crap, this is the address I was supposed to take her to. What are the odds? And tries to get out. The door starts shutting around her. Like, oh no. She goes into this room where the door opens, and there's a bunch of people in there, and they all immediately commit suicide in front of her. And there's a bunch of cult symbols on the wall. So, okay, this is some weird demon-worshipping cult, and this girl was possessed by this demon, and it made her turn old, So she shows up, attacks Annie one more time, but Annie kills her. And as she's laying on the ground, I guess the demon literally crawls out of her mouth and continues to chase Annie. But after being such a nasty bitch, you kind of just don't care if things don't turn out well for Annie. Well, guess what? It turns out okay for Annie. Because a vehicle that's sitting on the cinder block or whatever falls onto the demon and squishes it. So she steals another car and leaves and starts doing her rap. So it wasn't that good. There's some moments in it, some good shots here and there. And for the most part, yes, there's some credibility to the premise that the camera would keep running, but it's hard to follow. And I understand this is the character she's playing, but it's so over the top annoying that you end up rooting for the demon to win. And poor Stretch, he didn't deserve that. He really didn't. So there's not a whole lot to it as far as, hey, here's a different take on found footage. Not really. It's just, well, it's a dash cam, so okay, but that's about it. So, if you're a sucker for found footage like I am, you probably have already seen it, but is it worth the trouble? Not really. So poor guy, he was in this movie, and then he ended up in Willow. Well, hopefully next role will be better.